All right, joining us now as we continue to talk some Big 12 softball, of course, we go to Houston, where, of course, we got her in her first year as Houston head coach, of course, was a standout player during her time going up there in South Carolina. Of course, been a head coach coming over from George Washington. We speak of Chrissy Schoonmaker joining us, as well as Makenna Mitchell, who, of course, last season had a great season, 9 home runs, 37 RBIs, 8 doubles, among the team leaders offensively for the Cougars. They both join us now here on In the Circle at D1 Softball, powered by 643. How you ladies doing?
Doing great, Eric. Thanks for having us today.
All right, let's
Great, how are you?
doing good, doing good. I appreciate it. Let me start with you, Coach. How has the fall been as far as getting to know the players, and as we're now basically a couple weeks away from the season?
Yeah, it's been a joy. They've been energetic, focused, ready to work. They're a fun group to be around. It's been an enjoyable fall. We're 2 weeks out from season, so just ready to play somebody else and scrimmage somebody else. That's not wearing red and black.
McKenna, I want to ask you, what's it been like learning the new coaching staff?
Pretty easy, honestly. I feel like we have a group of coaches that no matter what the day is, you're gonna get the same people every single day. So it's been nice to have some consistency.
What's been some of the takeaways as you've been learning, obviously, this coaching staff, new there, and obviously some new teammates, but some also returners?
I would say that everyone's just genuine and the coaches care about us. I feel like they care about us more as people than players a lot of the times. And I feel like all the newcomers have been just awesome and worked their butt off. So.
That's pretty good. Coach, describe this. Obviously, the new coaching staff, they're getting to know the players. What's that been transition like from the staff to the players?
Yeah, for our staff, I mean, we're still learning each other. So Jordan Gontram came over with me from George Washington. Jeff Cottrell and Irie White are new for me to work with. So we've all been learning how we all operate, how we flow together, which has been great. McKenna said it, we care a ton about our student athletes as people. Our ultimate goal in life is for them to be successful post-graduation. We're certainly here to compete for championships, but we want them to have the tools to be great when they graduate from Houston. So for us, it's been getting on the same page as a staff, learning one another how we operate, and then translating that to coaches. But we've poured a lot into relationships through the fall, getting to know our player. I think in order to lead people, you've got to know people. So we've invested a lot of time with them, just making sure we're present around the facility, we're visible around them, and that we know how they operate. So I think it's been great. I think it's translated down to how we can now coach them and push them, especially as we head into the season. And we're, like I said, a couple weeks out from opening day, just really starting to lock in and finesse the details. And we can be firm when we need to be firm, but they know that under any of that, there's a ton of care and a ton of love for them.
Let's talk a little offense. Let's start with McKenna. What makes her such a great hitter? What have you learned from her? And I would imagine, as you have kind of listened to her and her answers, there's kind of bought into what you and your staff has.
Yeah, McKenna's a super special player. She's super talented. She's a joy to be around. She's smiling right now as I'm talking about her. She's super invested in her craft. I'm around the facility a ton. We've been trying to make some improvements in our cages, our field, and I go through there and McKenna's in there every day working, whether we're on an on day and off day. This is a kid that gets in, takes her hacks, puts in the deposits to have her success. So her success isn't by accident. It's by design and it's a testament to the work that she does. She's put in a ton of work in the weight room as well. I throw BP. I don't spin it as well as I used to, but McKenna takes me out to the Chevron pretty frequently. She's a really strong player, and she's just gotten stronger this year. So she's super great defensively. She plays a hot corner for us. She can play the middle infield for us, but she'll be a player to project to see in the heart of our lineup. But she's got a lot of power. She's disciplined at the plate. She knows what she wants to swing at. She executes an RBI situation. So she's a joy to be around, but she's an offensive force at the plate for us.
That's a pretty high praise there, McKenna. There is that true? You're taking it to Chevron there. You're not taking it easy on Coach, huh?
I mean, when I get a meatball down there, yeah, maybe, but
I throw a few of those.
That's a pretty good line. McKenna, talk about some of your teammates. Who are some of the other players that have stood out for you in the fall to help this offense?
I'll say our transfer from A&M, Kylie Griffin. She has been a tremendous leader, especially on offense and defense. I just feel like everything she hits is just complete power. Like I don't feel like she ever hits a ball that's a miss hit. I will say Jordy Wilkins. Last year she was very consistent. Like when she went up to the plate, we were like, okay, this girl's getting a triple or a double. There ain't no in between. And then I'll say Maddox Mitchell as well. She's very consistent at the plate. Like she'll make something happen out of nothing. So,
Coach, what's it like when they're learning the offensive system there? Is there a timetable as a coaching staff that you put on it for the players? Is it just kind of evolve based on the player and what they kind of, if they're advanced, if they're ahead of schedule or on schedule? What's kind of the philosophy from the staff standpoint as they learn the offensive system?
I'd say it's honestly a little mix of both. As we went into the fall, I think we had maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks of practice as a team, and then we went right into our fall game. So we felt it really important to assess where we were, right? You're not coming in necessarily, you're making changes as you see them that you think are going to be beneficial, but I think it's really important to assess where your team is, where your strengths are. In order to do that, you've got to watch a little bit, and watch them play and see who steps up in competitive situations. What are we about? And obviously, we'd watched a ton of film as a staff prior to taking the job and prior to taking the field for that first time in September. But then we've been layering stuff on, right? We're honing in on our fundamentals. We have some staff members that have some experience with motor preferences. So understanding what our team's motor preferences are, how we move, what are drills that work for particular players, what are drills that don't work for particular players. And then as we're heading into scouting now and opponents, it's what do we think we're going to see opening weekend? What are we going to see week two? What are we going to see when we go into the Big 12? What's a Big 12 drop ball look like? And so then, trying right now to be a little bit more like it's game execution, it's situational hitting. It's not just about feeling good and feeling your swing. It's what can you do in the box when there's a runner on base, can you execute? So we're a lot more right now into execution within our practices, runners and when we're throwing BP, runners in situations, base runners at every bag, making sure that we're getting those reads. So we're really trying to keep things game-like right now, where the fall was a little bit more about fundamentals, fine-tuning some things within the swing.
Wilkins, as Makenna mentioned, hit 336 last season, led the team in hitting. What makes her such a great hitter, and what have you seen from her in the fall and here's to get ready for the season?
Yeah, Jordy's a super disciplined player. Again, you talk about basketball players and they talk about being gym rats. Kate, we've got some cage rats on our team and she's one of them. She's someone that's always putting in hacks. I was leaving the facility the other night and she was going into swing again post lift. She's somebody that likes to hit, likes to take her reps to feel good. She's putting in the deposits and Jordy's comeback. She had a big sophomore year. We're looking forward to her to continue that into her junior season, but she puts in the effort, she puts in the work, and again, I'm someone that truly believes that success doesn't happen by accident. It happens because people have put in the work, and a lot of people don't see those things that our players are doing or that successful people are doing. And McKenna, Jordy, those players are putting in those deposits every day.
Makenna, talk about the leaders on this group, and do you consider yourself one of the leaders? And if so, what's your style as leadership?
I would definitely say the leaders are Mandy Essman, Kylie Griffin, and I guess myself. I mean, when you think of leader, I feel like you think of someone that's always, I don't know, I wouldn't say like strict, but someone that's, very serious all the time. And I just feel like that's not me. Unless I'm on defense, then yeah, I am serious, but I'm the type of person where I'm like friends with anyone on the team, I'm able to, and I feel like that's my leadership quality is I'm able to go to someone on the team that, maybe I haven't talked to in a little bit, or, I see that they have a hard day and I'm able to connect with them because I feel like I've connected to everybody on the team on a deeper level. So
That's pretty good. How important, Coach, is it the leaders like McKenna as they learn, your staff and you learn them? How important has that been during this transition and this process?
Yeah, it's been massive. One of the things that we've been pouring into our team lately is that the best teams are player led. So we coaches might write a lineup, players write the lineup every day in practice. Let me be clear on that. We simply write down what they show us, but our leadership within our locker room has been great. They've been bought into what we're trying to do. But when you think about being a player-led team, the players are the ones calling up the standards, holding people accountable, making sure that they're doing the extra work, right? Over winter break, they had accountability groups where they're checking in with one another. Coaches aren't involved in that. And I think you look at the best teams and best programs, and those are things that people do outside of just the hours that we get to spend together as a team. And these players have taken ownership to that. They've bought into that. They've stepped up in those moments to make sure they're all on the same page that are, for us to achieve our vision and our goal. Makenna, said something about herself here. She said she doesn't know that she sees herself as a leader because she likes to laugh and have a lot of fun. This kid is a leader. This kid can make anybody feel connected when they walk in a room. She likes to have fun, but she's super focused as well. And I have been preaching and talking to our team a lot about you can have a lot of discipline, you can have a lot of focus and know when it's time to work, and you can also have a lot of fun while you do those things. And she really understands that, and she does a great job of that. There's moments, that can be tough within a practice or tough within a game when something doesn't go your way. And McKenna's usually one of those players that can get us kind of reset, refocused. Maybe it's with a laugh, but it's like, all right, that was funny. And then like, all right, here we go, let's go. So this kid does a great job of that. And I want to make sure I give her kudos to that.
Well, she's smiling, so I think she receives the kudos very well. McKenna, what got you into softball growing up?
I'm the middle child, which is already a hard job as
Yeah.
is. And then on top of that, I have two brothers. So I kind of had to grow up like, I didn't get Barbies, I didn't get dolls. I got footballs, stuff that I can share with my brothers. So I grew up, I mean, we were always outside, always playing, and I'm competitive. So it didn't matter if we were playing football, soccer, baseball, I was going to be the best. And I feel like that's has molded me as a person.
That's pretty good. Molded there. I know you have family members that play baseball, correct? That played other sports?
Yes, sir. My dad played baseball. He played through college. My grandpa played baseball and I think slow pitch fastball. He just sent me some pictures where he's in like a crop top and some shorts. I'm like, okay. Um, my cousin, she played at UIW, and yeah, we're an athletic family.
I would say so. That sounds pretty good. How did those experiences, playing with your brother and everything, help you become the softball player that you are now?
I just could not lose. So if that meant I had to go outside and hit off the tee, so next time we play, I'm the champ, then that's just what I had to do. And I just always felt like my brothers really were the ones that pushed me to be as, just as competitive as I am.
Competitive indeed. Coach, who are some of the new faces that has that competitive edge that McKenna has?
Yeah, she mentioned Kylie Griffin, who transferred over from Texas A&M after graduating from there. Kylie's super competitive. She's a strong kid, big personality, comes to work every day, ready to have fun, ready to get after it. She's been a great addition to our team. London Park is a transfer pitcher from the University of Illinois, and I expect her to have a great year, a big year. She projects to have a great season. She's been putting a lot of deposits into her fitness on the mound. So she's a newcomer for us in the circle. That'll be a new look in the circle for Houston. And then our rookies, we've got a handful of rookies that are making, they'll look to make their mark on the collegiate game. Some of the ones that have really stood out through the fall, Leilani Garcia, a middle infielder with a lot of pop. She's from just down the road in Texas. She won a state championship last season. Project to see her in the middle of the lineup and the middle of our defense. Ronnie Esparza, Veronica Esparza, played for the Baptist Stith. She's a freshman out of California. Has got a lot of pop in her bat, had a great fall for us. I look forward to seeing her take the field. Riley Gardner, an outfielder again from Baptist Stith, has some pop, strong arm, just puts her head down and works. She's a really quiet kid, but she's someone that just gets after it consistently. And again, we've got Kylie Savant, Shelby Taylor, Haley Gore, Katie Torres. We got quite a few rookies, 7 freshmen that'll be in our lineup. I say not in our lineup, but that are on our roster, excuse me. But quite a few of them I project to be in our lineup right from the start and making a difference on this season. So a lot of new faces, newcomers, blended with our top returners in our middle of the lineup kids. I'm excited. I talked about Makenna being a leader. She said it. Mandy Esmond has had a great fall. Is just a stand-up kid that has led this locker room. So we've got a lot of people that I think we're going to see big things from this season, and just looking forward to putting all the pieces together and seeing them all put the pieces together come opening day.
McKenna, when people see your offense play, what do you want people to have that identity of Houston offense to look like?
Just gritty. I feel like we can get it done no matter long ball, short ball, in between. I feel like we can just make things happen.
Coach, let's talk about your pitching staff. You've got a handful of arms there. Just what kind of give us the outlook on the pitching staff right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've got depth in the circle. Again, I mentioned London Park. I expect her to have a big year. She's been spinning it really well through the fall within our inner squads. Um, she can mix with different speeds, different locations. Gigi Solis had a great fall for us. She returns in the circle, she's a different look. I think that's one of the things that I'm excited about in our circle is that it's not that everything looks a little bit different. It's not all the same. We're certainly going to be a pitch by committee team. We've talked about that with our pitching staff. We've got to go after 21 outs in a game, and if the game requires more, we'll tackle that. But Maddie Hartley is a two-way player for us. Those down mixes some speed. She's someone that I'm super excited about. Expect her to have a big sophomore year. She's been getting it done offensively too. And she gives us a lot of options with that. Being a pitcher that can hit, I think you can pull somebody in to go get 3 outs, put them back on defense, put them back in the lineup, and they haven't really exited or entered. They've just made a position change. So she allows us some flexibility there. Paris Lehman is a senior who's been throwing the ball well. I'm excited for her. I know she's really looking forward to a big senior year. Nevaeh Brown throws with a little bit more velo, and she's someone that has gotten after it this fall with her fitness, with her work ethic, has just put her head down, and she's someone that's really bought into our pitching staff and our pitching coach, Coach Nairi White. So super excited. To see her do that, see her take the circle, and then Nikki Badeau comes off. I think she's in year 4, but she's really in her sophomore year of playing Division I softball. She's coming off some injuries, and we're excited. We're fully healthy. I'm always gonna knock on wood on that, but she's someone that throws the ball with a lot of velo and just is super competitive. So our pitching staff is gritty. They give a lot of different looks. We've got a full 6, and we plan to use them all. It'll be a lot about matchups for us, and some of that comes in from our scouting. What do we see? Who do we think strengths and weaknesses are? Who throws best against what opponent? But I'm looking forward to seeing our pitching staff attack it in the circle and really buying into working together as a unit.
McKenna, as a defensive infielder, talk about having the back of your pitchers there and the outlook there defensively to help your defense there, helping your pitchers.
I just feel like I've built a relationship with all of the pitchers. Like, after every pitch, I'm, closing in the gap between us, and I feel like that connects like a heartbeat. I don't know. I've heard it from pitchers, and they say it's like it makes them feel more comfortable, like they're not so isolated. So I try to embody that, like, we're behind you, trust your stuff. I say that probably 4 times an inning, just because I want them to know, like, hey, we got your back. It's not all on you. Like, balls are going to get hit, but, you just got to understand, like, we have your back. And I feel like I try to, let them know that.
That's good. Sounds to me, I like that. So you're the one that's going to step in there if somebody needs to say, step in and, hey, everything's going to be all right.
Yes, sir. And I feel like our catchers do an amazing job as well. Like, like they'll call our time, even if it's just for like a breather, things can get a little fast sometimes, but I feel like we do an amazing job of slowing things down.
Very good. McKenna, I see you figured out this podcast game. I was just about to ask Coach about the catchers and their role with the pitching staff. And you mentioned Coach White, Nairi White there. How has that been, getting to know her and working with her? I know that was a hire you made right as we talked back in the summer, that transition and the roles of the catchers with the pitching staff and getting to know all the different arms.
Yeah, they've been great. Coach White's been an outstanding addition to our staff. We've talked before. She was in the private lessons sector, so she did a ton of pitching development leading up to taking this collegiate job. One of the things she was most excited about was the ability to see them compete in games. So when you're in the private sector and you're doing that development piece, you're not getting that necessarily that competition piece. She's super competitive. Coach White's super competitive. She goes by Coach Nairi. Coach White, she thinks is her dad. So I'll say that. She is super competitive and loves to compete, and I think she's really passed that mentality down to our pitching staff of going at batters, of attacking them. Um, yeah, the catchers, Issa Centrone, um, oh my gosh, Kylie Savant, Savannah Luther. We've got a trio of catchers behind the plate. They are competitive. They do a nice job of receiving pitches, of blocking balls. We've got a mix of what we throw up, down, and change up. And I think they've been becoming familiar with our pitching staff, and especially our new pitcher in the circle in London. But I think they do a really nice job of understanding, like Makenna said, what that feel is. When do you call timeout? When do you step in? Kind of being the ones to if we need to step it down a little bit or shore up our defense, they do a nice job of understanding what that feel is. And I think you always want a catcher that has that feel, that knows the game and can kind of feel when it's escalating or when it needs to be de-escalated. And they do a great job of that. So I look for them all to get time behind the plate. They've been doing a nice job in a rotation and trying to keep everybody healthy, keep our arms healthy, keep their legs healthy, and as we go through the season. So the catchers have done a nice job, and Coach White's done a nice job developing both the pitching staff and the battery as a whole.
McKenna, what do you tell the new face, especially the freshmen, about Big 12 softball? You've experienced it. What do you tell them?
It's a battle every week. There is no off week, that you might go 0 and 3, for your first game, but you know what? That's the beauty of having a 3-game series is like, okay, tomorrow I got it. Like, no worries, and like just taking the opportunities as they come and, just leaving it all out there.
Do you have a favorite city in the Big 12 you visited or like to visit?
I like when we went, as much as I feel bad for pitchers when we go to Utah, on both sides, I love just like the environment up there. I think it's so beautiful. So,
I've heard that. You're not alone in that. That is very accurate. Coach, I know you've gotten to know all the coaches in the Big 12 through meetings, et cetera. What's been your impression on the league and knowing the coaches? A league you're familiar with before your previous stops, but obviously a lot of changes. But still, what's it been like getting to know the league and knowing the coaches?
Yeah, they've been super welcoming. It's a really fun head coaching group. We've got a Big 12 head coaches group thread and text that we chat on pretty frequently about different changes and things we're trying to do within the league. One of the things that stands out about the league is just how invested people are in trying to up the game of softball and enhance the game of softball for the young women that we lead, for the sport as a whole. A lot of us are involved in committees on the national level that we're trying to elevate the game, make changes within the game that we think will benefit the sport. And it's been really fun to just be in those conversations and to hear different people's perspectives, but a cohesive group in that regard. And I know when we take the field, we'll all be super competitive. But we've met quite a few times on Zoom about some rule changes. We met obviously in Dallas in person at the Big 12 meetings at the start of the year, and super impressive group, and have just loved getting to know everybody, and looking forward to taking the field against my colleagues there.
Let's talk a little bit. Obviously, this past fall, Houston football had a great season. Coach Fritz in his second season, 10 wins, bowl game, ranked in the top 25, building that program up there. Just, time you're building this program up. There's a process that comes with that. Do you kind of pick out some similarities there, what he's doing and what you're doing there? I know they're different sports, timelines, or whatever, but still, it's an example of what, hey, look what he's doing in football. We're doing the same here. We're going to be doing the same in softball.
Absolutely. Coach Fritz has been awesome. He's been awesome to me. I've had quite a few conversations with him. He's someone that anytime you walk past him, he's going to stop and chat and check in on our season, even if he's in the middle of a game prep for the game the night before. He's a remarkable guy. They've been a ton of fun to watch. But absolutely, their process has been fun to watch unfold. He's someone that puts his head down and works. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. And when you're building something, I think understanding what the build looks like, what the work is required to do that, and trying to just eliminate the outside noise. I think he does a really good job of this is what we're trying to do at Houston. This is who we are. This is what it takes. And kind of eliminating those distractions. So that's been a really good thing for me just to pay attention to. But he's securing the state, making sure he's attacking the best kids in Houston, picking up the best kids out of the portal that he can, developing players. I think that's something that's not talked about a ton anymore. People are recruiting top talent, but can you develop talent if you're not getting that top tier kid? You've got to be someone that really knows how to develop somebody. So I think his staff has done a really great job of that. But the blueprint that they've laid out and their success this season was a blast to watch. It certainly helps elevate Houston as an athletic department on the national scale, what Kelvin Sampson's doing with Houston basketball. And that's not their success is not new. It's been tried. It's been true. He's not in a build. He's at the pinnacle. And that program is doing outstanding work. And they've really laid the foundation for the department and a path for all of us to follow. So I do pay a lot of attention to that. And I've certainly talked to our team and talked to our staff every day about the process of becoming great, the process of becoming a champion, what it looks like, how that process and that success takes time. But that process is something that we're really locked in on. And it's just in for our vision there at the end.
Makenna, as a student, you've gone to some of the football, basketball games. What's the experiences like?
I would say chaos. Like the crowds are amazing. Like the atmosphere is just like I feel like I'm going to an NFL game or like an NBA game. Like it's just awesome. I feel like Houston really knows to show up for their fans, so it's nice.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it seems that way on television, especially with the basketball and everything like that. And of course, the football going up there as well, the success. Do you, as players, student athletes, do you sense that? Do you feed off of that? That the success, football, basketball, other sports, maybe, track and field, I know it's been really good. Talk about that. Does that feed off of you? Do you sense that as athletes?
For sure. I feel like it's also a competitive thing. It's like, okay, well, basketball's doing that well. Well, we gotta do our thing too, you know? And I feel like if other sports are putting Houston on the map, I feel like that gives us a little fire, like, okay, it's our turn now. So
What's your post softball career plans?
I want to be a nurse.
Ooh, pretty good. What led you to going in that direction?
I just feel like I just love helping people, and I feel like it's a job that not everybody can do. So I feel like, that's me being competitive. Once again, I just have to do something that not everybody can do.
Fair.
So,
That's a good field to be competitive in there. And that's what's part of this, right, Coach, is the academic side. Speak of that in Houston, what it offers, like what McKenna's going into, he wants to be a nurse. There's a lot of offers there in the university that I'm sure is attractive as you use that as part of the recruiting.
Absolutely. And this team, kudos to this team. This team had a 3.5 GPA as a team this last semester. I think it was the top GPA in 9 or 10 semesters. They've been crushing in the classroom. They put their head down and they work. Houston offers a lot of opportunities, obviously within the university, but then in the city itself with internships and what people are able to access, whether it's from the medical field, the law, you name it in Houston, you're in one of the biggest cities in the country and you have access to a lot of things. So that's something that I think is pretty cool. Just the ability for them to connect with big employers, with big networks. We've had a couple networking nights run through our student athlete development program, and what the opportunities are for post graduation here in this city is pretty remarkable.
I know when we spoke back in the summer, you talked about the alumni being excited for your arrival, coming back, especially the group you coached when you were your first time around, when you were the assistant. What's that been like since then? And is there a certain Hall of Famer you've crossed paths with that you used to play with back when in your days when you were growing up in the state of Florida?
Oh yeah, the alumni have been fantastic. The Hall of Famer you're talking about is Angel. She's just down the hall, Angel Chamberlain, Hall of Famer, All-American, all everything. Her name is littered all over the record books here in the pitching categories. She leads our academic department. She's not our academic advisor for our team. She runs the whole shop. but does a nice job there in academics. The alumni have continued to remain invested. We put some notes in the mail to them. We've doubled our season ticket sales from last season, which is a fun stat to be able to share. So we're really working to pack the park. These young women are remarkable to see on the field, and we are trying to get as many people out to the park to see them play. And the alumni have been involved in that. Some of them have joined the Diamond Club, giving back to the program. So just trying to connect with people when and how we can. And we invite all of our alumni back, all fans to come watch a special group of women play. But we can't do it without them. I talked to our team, and Makenna can be a testament to this about, you wear the jersey, but you wear the jersey for the people that came before you, the alumni that came before you, and you wear the jersey for the people that are going to follow in your footsteps and come behind you, for the generation that hasn't touched the field yet at Houston. But every time that you get to put Houston on, you're representing a lot more than yourself. And having our players understand that and buy into that and represent our alumni is super important to our program. And I believe it's super important to our players as well.
Makenna, expand on that, being a player and certainly playing for the alumni and certainly what representing them. And of course, you got one that works at the school, is the greatest of them all time, the GOAT. What does that mean to wear that jersey and representing there for alumni that'll be coming back throughout the season and watch your team play?
I was always taught, my dad, just, playing for the thing on the front of your shirt. That way the thing on the back of your shirt means something as well. I feel like playing for Houston, I feel like it's just an amazing opportunity, especially being from Houston. I think it's just an awesome, thing to do. And I always see her around. She's always in study hall. She's awesome. She's very nice.
Study hall, that doesn't surprise me one bit. That might explain I never hear from her, so that explains it now. I feel better now. Thank you. Last thing before I let you both go. As the season gets going, what do you want people to have to be the identity of Houston softball? If you were to say, this is what Houston softball is, what do you want people to learn as they watch your team play throughout the year? Starting with you, Makenna, and then you, Coach.
I would just say competitive. That we're a team that's never going to back down. It doesn't matter if we're in the seventh inning or the first inning. I feel like it's not done until the game's over, and I feel like we really embody that.
Clearly, we're in the same locker room. Competitive. We're a team that competes. We're a team that's gritty. We're a team that loves one another. And I think anybody that watches Houston play will see that we're a really connected group. But from how we play, we're competitive and we're gritty. And then how we are as a unit, I would say connected and just a group that loves one another.
That is head coach Chrissy Schoonmaker, and of course, Makenna Mitchell joining us here at In the Circle on D1 Softball. Ladies, it's a pleasure to talk to both of you. Good luck this season. I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point during the season, but in the meantime, thanks for telling your story, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us here on In the Circle on D1 Softball.
Eric, thanks for having us. Pleasure to see you as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Go Cougs.